Alrighty. And good morning and welcome to everyone. Thank you so much for joining us for Norcal APEX's How to Do Business with the State of California. This fantastic presentation is in partnership and presented by the California DGS Office of Small Business and DVBE Services. My name is Amanda Anderson. I'm the program coordinator for Norcal APEX Accelerator and your humble host today. And today I'm joined by Joanne Patty, a business outreach liaison with the California DGS OSDS. She has been working as a business outreach liaison to educate small businesses and local businesses about the small business and DVBE certification that you can get, a huge boon to government contracting businesses. And with over a decade of experiences and accomplishments within the business sector, she is an absolute gem to have join us today. But before I go ahead and pass it over to her, I do want to let you know a little bit about how Norcal APEX Accelerator can help you with government contracting. Now, as a part of the APEX Accelerator program, we are here to help you at absolutely no cost with anything government contracting related. From your initial SAM registration or local vendor registrations to contract compliance after you win your first one, we can help with it all. And we do this in three main ways. We offer one-on-one counseling where you can hop on Zoom with one of our procurement specialists to go over the hiccups and hurdles that you may be experiencing along your journey. Maybe it's a tricky SAM registration or a really complicated bid proposal, or maybe you're looking to get cybersecurity training. We also offer that. And working one-on-one with our procurement specialist can help really fine-tune your government contracting skills. Our second offering of government contracting assistance is a custom bid matching program. Now, this bid matching program is a software that our program pays for, but offers to all of our clients at absolutely no cost. Remember, none of these services will cost you any money from Norcal APEX Accelerator. So this custom bid matching is a program that allows you to set up essentially an account with keywords, maybe industry terms, maybe geographical location that you can perform work in. And this software takes those keywords, takes those criteria, and they scrape all the vendor registration, the vendor solicitation pages, whether they're from the state, the city, the local counties, or even the federal level. And they'll find bid opportunities relevant to those keywords, to your business, and it'll email it directly to you. So this service allows you to get opportunities directly to your inbox after very minor setup, which is a huge boon because that can be a real time sink, is finding relevant bid opportunities. And our third offering of government contracting assistance, you're actually taking advantage of right now. We put on amazing trainings and webinars and in-person events throughout the entire year that are for you wherever you are, whether you're in our service area, whether you're already working with a counselor from our team. You can sign up for these webinars. You can join us for our in-person events, no matter who or where you are coming from, and you can get all of this valuable information. And that also expands to our website. We maintain a really robust website with a ton of links and resources and tools for you to be successful in government contracting. And again, this is honestly my favorite pillar of assistance because this one you can use whether you can become a client of ours or not. And a big part about APEX Accelerator services is we are a nationwide network. Whereas Norcal APEX Accelerator, we can only accept clients from these 15 Northern California counties. If you are not within that county or within one of those 15 counties, you can absolutely find an APEX Accelerator near you. And you can do so at that link that aptac-us.org. They will be rebranding very soon, as we are all rebranding from PTACs to APEXs. But it's really crucial to know that we are a nationwide network here to offer no-cost government contracting assistance. So even if you're not in California, even if you're not on the West Coast, there is absolutely an APEX Accelerator near you who can help you with your government contracting journey. And so with that, I do want to read a very brief disclosure. As this event is recorded, the information provided herein is accurate to the best of the presenter's ability at the time of this presentation in January 2024. Some or all of the provisions mentioned herein could or may be changed by the current administration, with or without prior notice. And that's just something you need to keep in mind. Things change very quickly in the government contracting space. So with that, I'll go ahead and pass it over to Joanne.
Thank you so much, Amanda. I'm super excited to be here today. So glad I can join APEX Accelerator in how to do business with California state government. And Amanda gave me a really great welcome. So thank you so much. Today we're going to do a broad introduction of how to do contracting with the state of California, sell your products and your services to the different departments. So we're going to cover a lot of information, but as Amanda said in the beginning, you guys are going to be able to receive the PowerPoints afterwards. So if there's something that you want to go back and look at, that will be available to you. So let's go ahead. And again, this is my information. I did put it in the chat. I'll put it in when we get a second, a little bit lower too. And it's also available at the end slides. I'm a business outreach liaison. I've been with the Office of Small Business and DVBE Services for about a year and a half. And what we do is we educate small businesses and DVBEs on how to contract with the state of California. My information, that's my email, there's my phone number. Reach out to me anytime. So today I said we're going to be covering a lot of really great information. So we're going to be going over what is the SB and DVBE program. We're going to be talking about the benefits of certification, why get certified at all. We're going to be talking about some eligibility criteria, and we're going to go over and I'm going to show you Cal e-procure and what it is and how you can use it. And then we're going to be talking about the SB and DVBE emergency registry. It's just something that the Office of Small Business and Disabled Veteran Business Enterprise Services has for certified firms to be more involved with state of California contracting. And last but not least, and if you've ever been to any of our webinars in the past, it might be kind of a review, but equally important is commercially useful function. And that's just the laws and the regulations that go along with having a state of California contract, which is the goal for all of us, right? So just to get in some of the numbers, so the state of California as a whole, and then each department and agency have a mandate to spend 25% of all contract dollars with small businesses and 3% of all contract dollars with DVBE. So in fiscal year 21 through 22, which is actually the most recent data that we're able to share right now, state of California spent $13.38 billion with a B dollars in state contracting. As you can see here, 1.3 billion went to emergency contracts, and 646 or 4.82% of all contract dollars went to DVBEs, and 3.3 billion or 24.82% of all contract dollars went to small businesses. So as you can see here, the state actually surpassed the 3% contracting goal with DVBEs, and it came really close to that 25% goal, but in this fiscal year, they didn't quite meet it. So in order to get more certified firms involved in state of California contracting, it's one of the reasons why we developed that emergency registry. And we're going to go over that a little bit later in this presentation. I also show this slide to show you guys all the state has a lot of money out there, and they want to spend it on small businesses. And for the state of California, different departments to get credit for it, you do have to be a certified business. Okay, so it's definitely an incentive for you guys to be certified. With that, state of California has 3 certifications. So we're going to go over each one of these and the eligibility requirements in a second, but we offer the small business. That includes micro businesses, small businesses for the purpose of public works, also known as SBPW when I reference it, and disabled veteran business enterprises. That's what I mean when I say DVBE. Just to know, the state does not have other certifications like women-owned, disadvantage-owned businesses, or veteran-owned businesses. We only offer these 3 certifications. Other programs like Caltrans, for instance, or programs that have federal money flowing through them may offer additional certifications. But for today's training, we're only going to be discussing these 3 certifications. I get asked that a lot, so I thought I'd throw that in there. All right, benefits of becoming certified. As a small business, you may get up to a 5% bid preference on contracts. And as a DVBE, you may receive up to a 5% incentive on contracts. And that gives your business an advantage when you bid against non-certified firms. By being certified, you have access to contracts that are only exclusive to certified businesses. So if you're not certified, you are actually automatically excluded from those contract opportunities. One is the SB or DVB option for procurements between $5,000 and $250,000 minus a penny. As a certified small business, you get the benefits of the Prompt Payment Act, which gives you higher interest penalties for late, undisputed invoice payments. So it's in your benefit that the state pays you on time. Otherwise, you get a little incentive fee if they're late. And then another benefit is that your certification is valid with other cities, counties, and local governments that accept and recognize the state of California certification. We call these reciprocity partners, and it makes it just easier for you guys to do business with those entities. So if a contract comes up, you don't have to like rush around and go and get certified with them because you're already certified and they recognize it, which is definitely a relief if you're an over preparer like I am. And lastly, when you work with prime contractors as a subcontractor, the prime actually gets the benefits of your certification, making you much more desirable subcontractor. They're going to want to partner with you. Sometimes the bigger firms, they don't meet the eligibility requirements, right, for the SB or DVBEs. And so they need a contract with the smaller businesses so that they can actually get that contract. Let's talk about some eligibility requirements. So for small business, including micro business, you do have to be independently owned and operated. You can't be dominant in your field of operation, which just means you can't be a monopoly. You can't be the only one doing it. You got to have some competition out there, okay? Principal office must be located within California for Californians. Owners or officers for a corporation have to be domiciled in California. There's an employee cap of 100 or fewer employees for small business. And your gross annual receipts, otherwise known as GARs, cannot exceed 16 million. So what I mean by that is you're going to take your taxes from the last 3 years and you're going to get an average, and that average just cannot exceed 16 million. Just a note, because I get asked this all the time. I just opened my business like 2 months ago and I haven't done any taxes. Am I still eligible? Absolutely. When you go through the registration process, you're going to put the date in there and that date will reflect. You just don't have any taxes to upload. So you would be fine for that. The next year, certification is good for 2 years. So when you go to recertify, then you will then enter your taxes. If you're a manufacturer, 100 or fewer employees, but there's no GARS cap. Small business for the purpose of public works, eligibility requirements. Have some of the same eligibility requirements as the last slide, such as being independently owned and operated. You can't be dominant in the field of operation. Remember, that means you just can't be monopoly. You're going to have some kind of competition. Headquarters and owners still have to be in California, but there is a higher count of employees, which is 200 for the purpose of public works. And then that gross annual receipt amount, remember those taxes I was talking about? That's higher at 38 million. So that's the average over a span of the last 3 years. Now, just a note, If you are a small business, there's no need to apply for small business for the purpose of public works and small business. You want to get one or the other of those ones, okay? You're going to get the same benefits, but the SBPW is only for big public works projects. The SB is for everything, and it can include public works. Now, that said, DVBE, you can stack SBPW, so small business for the purpose of public works, or small business with DVBE. So if you are a disabled veteran, business enterprise services, you can, in addition, if you meet the eligibility requirements for the other small business certifications, get those as well. And that gives you increased benefits, okay? So let's start from the beginning. A disabled veteran is a veteran of the United States Armed Forces with a service-connected disability of at least 10%. And this disability status is determined by the federal government, not by us, not by the state of California. And the DVBE is a business that is 51% owned by one or more disabled veterans. For LLCs or limited liability companies, the business must be fully owned, 100% owned by disabled veterans. The disabled veteran owners must live in California. The owners who are not disabled veterans, they can live in. And then the daily management and operations of the business must be done by disabled veterans, although it doesn't have to be the disabled veteran who actually owns the business. Lastly, the businesses must be headquartered within the United States. The business cannot be a branch or even a subsidiary of a foreign corporation, foreign firm, or any other foreign-based business. So it's got to be the United States. You can't have your headquarters in Mexico or Canada, even though the beaches in Mexico are amazing. Can't do it. And then you'll also notice that there is no GARS cap, and then there's also no employee cap. So DVBEs can actually grow quite large. All right, let's take a brief moment and let's look at this Q&A over here. Yep, you can, well, here's a little thing. I see a question here. Hello, good morning. Are you saying that the SB and the SBPW does the same thing and that you can only get one? Technicality, you can apply for both and you can get both, but it's not going to give you any added benefit to getting both. We recommend leave out the additional paperwork and pick one. Pick one. So if you meet the eligibility requirements for small business and only small business, you have employee cap of 100 or fewer, your GARS cap doesn't exceed 16 million, just do small business. You can still do public works projects. It's just more paperwork to do too for small business and small business for purpose of public works. So many questions coming in. Good job, you guys. If you subcontract workers, does that count towards your employee requirements for a small business? Yes, anonymous attendee. That's a great question. So let's say that I'm a prime contractor and then I need to do business, and I'm a prime contractor, but I'm too large, right? I'm too large as a business to do get the credit, but I contract with a certified small business. Then yes, that counts towards the state goal for that small business eligibility. Employees requirements for a small business. Yeah, some of these ones, like, we need additional information too. So feel free to like email me with like really like precise things that are going on with your company, and then I can research too. Hello, so the SB and the PW is the same thing. You can only one. I did that one. How do you do business with police departments? Well, that is, Abraham asked a really great question. How do you do business with police departments? I'm going to kind of get into that in a little bit. I'm going to show you the different types of departments and who you need to contact to get in touch. So the state of California has over 200, departments, all of which have certain people that you're going to want to market your business to. First step is absolutely getting certified as a small business for the purpose of public works, or DVBEs. Is there some TA on responding to RFPs? We actually, Amanda was saying in the very beginning of this that we have a 3-part series. This is number 1 of the 3-part series, which pretty much focuses on getting certified with the state of California. After this one, we do have a number 2, which is how to market your services to the state of California departments. And then number 3 is all about RFPs, LPAs, getting on those contracting. So I definitely will put in the link at the end of this to our events page where you can join anytime for really more in-depth knowledge about those ones as it goes on. Let's go ahead, and I'm just reading through these. They all popped up at one time. How much paperwork is involved in getting certified? Is it cumbersome? And there's a list of required documents which you can send. So first and foremost, getting certified is absolutely free. So the only thing it's going to cost you is your time. I'm going to go through in this presentation, Raj, and I'm going to show you where you can find a list of those documents. So to come in this presentation, you guys are just so quick. So a lot of paperwork. It's really about getting your documents and having that. You're welcome. No problem. I'm going to say answer live. If I'm the owner and disabled, go to the company, but my spouse is an active duty, we move to another state, can my company still be DVBE certified? I'm the owner. So it really depends on the setup of your company, right? For an LLC, you have to be wholly owned. But if you're the whole owner, yeah, I would, with those little intricacies, I got some questions. I would say, go ahead and email us, and then we can like look at your status and everything and your certification and give you like a precise answer. It's just going to be a little bit easier because there's a lot of, it depends on that one. And then, hello, good morning. You're saying the best we, oh, I did that one. You done. Look, so like me certification. We are a local sourcing material company based on client material needs. The question is, can we apply for certification as local sourcing company without having to be specific to certain material? Yes. So let me get to that, you guys. When you get registered and certified within Cali Procure, which is a centralized place for marketplace, I'm going to show you kind of how you label yourself, right? And pick your keywords and your codes. That's to be coming up. All right. I think I hammered him out, Amanda. So I'm gonna move on to everything you guys want to know, hopefully, here in a second. You guys are ahead of me. All right. It's like the perfect segue into Cali Procure, you guys. So Cali Procure, as I just said a second ago, it's California's centralized marketplace. And this is actually where you're going to go to do most of the work around getting certified, getting registered and getting certified, looking at past purchases, and then looking at upcoming solicitations, right? Those are the jobs. So we're going to do your market research. You can appear in searches by state of California buyers. This is where they see you. You can also get training and resources, upcoming webinars, like on things like those LPAs and those RFPs. This is where you're going to want to go. So the website is what you can see here. It's www.caliprocure.ca.gov. Okay, don't go there now because I'm going to walk you through it with some slides. But this is where you're going to start. Okay, so you can do lots of things on there. As I said, you can register your business, apply for certifications, find solicitations and contracts. Again, it's absolutely no cost, right? This is public information, and it's really exciting. So this is what it looks like when you go to www.caliprocure.ca.gov. This is what you're going to see for the homepage. I'm going to walk you guys through the registration and certification process. And then again, you will get these slides with these arrows to help you navigate through the process too, okay? So to begin registration, what you want to do is you're going to want to log in. So you can go up to the very top, click login or register. From there, you're going to click new bidder registration button to begin the registration process. This is where you're going to answer questions about you and your company. And I'm not going to take you through the whole entire registration process per se, but I'm going to show you the really important parts And there's no trick questions here, you guys. It's everything you already know, okay? It's going to ask you your tax ID number. It's going to ask you your company name, which you know. And just remember, like on every form that we see these days, anything with a red asterisk, it's just required information. But it's not trick questions, okay? Everything you already know. You're going to go ahead and click on New Bidder Registration. And you're going to go through there. It's going to ask you, it's going to send you an email. And it's going to ask you to reset your password. FYI, this is really from the state of California. It is only for a security measure. I like to remind people about that. During the registration process, you will also come to this page. And in 2022, Department of General Services, where I work, we began collecting voluntary diversity data information from certified businesses, anybody who's currently registered with Cali Procure, and then any new businesses for your Cali Procure profile. So collecting the voluntary diversity data is really a part of California's commitment to support diversity, equity, inclusion within state of California contracting. The diversity data will enable the evaluation of the effectiveness of the state's existing outreach programs and to provide a better understanding of where we really need to go out and do more targeted outreach efforts. The goal is really to ensure that California's supplier base is really reflective of our diverse state. So just a couple of reminders, the information is completely voluntary. You can always go back and you can change, you can even remove the data if you don't want it there at any time. If you fill this out, just a heads up, it does not grant contracting preference, and it does not in any way affect your contracting efforts or opportunities. It's just information the state is compiling right now to see where we really need to be and where we're not. This information is publicly displayed on your certification profile. So you can also look at other firms and see their supplier diversity information as well. And there's the website if you want additional information about this. But I do want to bring this up because A, it's important. And two is because you will see this when you're doing the registration process within Cali Procure. So we get a lot of questions about what this is about. So when you get registered, you're going to come back to the Cali Procure homepage, and then you're going to want to make sure that you log in. You're going to log in with your user ID and then your password. Okay, right there. And when you're registered, it's going to redirect you to this. And it's not going to say homepage anymore. It's going to say Work Center. And your Work Center is really just a snapshot of your information on Cali Procure. It's what you put in the computer system. And you can see your user ID. You're going to be able to see your bidder and your supplier ID. It's going to have your contact information there. And if you'd already done the certification process prior, it's going to have your certification information there too. There's also buttons, so don't panic. You can go back and you can edit your information. And then the next step after you register is to apply for that certification. So in order to apply for the certification, as you can see here, there's a couple of different ways to get to that certification tab. You can either click on Get Started, or you can go to Apply for Certification. After you click either of those, you're going to be directed here. And this is my most favorite page. And this really goes back to that Q&A that we got of, is there a list so I know what to upload? This is where that list is, okay? It has eligibility requirements for small businesses and DVBE. So you're going to know before you get started those documents that you need to have ready to go and uploaded in your computer or in your flash drive. So it makes the process just seamless, right? But definitely review those. It's just going to make it go a lot quicker. But at any time, you can start and stop it too. So if you're going through and you're like, I don't know, I got to come back, I got to go grab that document, you can totally do that. But this is what you can expect. When you're going through the certification process, you are going to come upon keywords. So keywords really describe a good and a service. And these keywords allow buyers from the state of California to find your business. You will put in a keyword. So there's not some predetermined list of keywords. You are coming up with keywords. So just some tips on this. You want to use individual words, not sentences. For instance, concrete, one word, enter. Next line, environmental, enter. Next word, legal, enter. You can use singular and plural, pencil, pencils, and you want to use common words and technical jargon, right? You can use broad words and specific words, and it's really important that you use synonyms. So for instance, if I had a garbage delivery service, I would want to definitely put garbage in there. But additionally, I would also want another keyword that says trash. The main thing with the keywords is put your buyer hat on, okay? The buyers will literally type these words into Cali Procure and find you. If you do not have a keyword, like let's say I only had garbage, but I didn't have trash, and the buyer from the state of California typed in trash, and I didn't have trash in mine, I would not come up in their search. So you want a very big list of those keywords in your profile. You can always go back in, you can add more as time goes on. You can take out ones if you're no longer doing that too. But this is a pretty important portion of it that you're going to run into. You can also copy keywords from competitors. So I'm going to show you in a second about past purchases and how you can look at your competitors, see who's actually getting those contracts, and you can take words from them. Maybe you just hadn't thought of something. Another one is the United Nations Standards Products and Services Codes. That is a mouthful. So we like to say UNSPSC, which is also a mouthful, but a little bit less of it. So United Nations Standards Products and Service Codes are really just an 8-digit number followed by a written description. And this identifies a good or service, not an industry. I often get asked if they're the same as NAICS codes. They're different. So if you've done any federal contracting before, you probably think of these as NAICS codes. These are a little bit different, okay? That these are goods and services, not an industry. So each code is part of a hierarchy, as you can see here, with 4 levels. Each level is determined by 2, 4, 6, or 8, with the remaining digits as zeros. The goods and services identified by the code become more and more specific in the lower levels of the hierarchy. Just a couple of things to remember. You have 2 places where you both put the UNSPSC codes. One portion is in your registration or your bidder profile that is not publicly displayed and only private to you. This is also where you're going to get those automated generated system notifications. And so these ones can be aspirational. Whereas in your certification profile, these codes are publicly displayed, which means anybody can just go on Cali Procure and look at your codes. These are used by buyers to find you. And so these ones must be really accurate to what you're doing right now. So nothing aspirational. You don't want to do anything that you think you might want to do in the future in your public certification profile. When you select your United Nations Standards and Products and Services codes, it's really, really easy to do. In Cali Procure, when you're going through it, you put one of your keywords in there, and it's going to pop up with the codes followed by a description. You're just going to click on the little boxes and move them on over, okay? You also want to search on the DGS website. You don't want to Google UNSPSC website. And the reason because of that is that DGS, Department of General Services, doesn't use the complete list of UNSPSC codes. Some of them are inactive. So it's really important that we use the DGS website, and I will put that in the chat in a second. You can also go to dgs.ca.gov and type in from our direct Department of General Services UNSPSCs, and it'll take you to that list of codes. Any code that you find when you're in Cali Procure, they'll say active, which is great. So you know that you're in the right place. You can use relevant codes through any of these levels. So you can use codes from 1, 2, 3, or 4. And the easiest way to think about UNSPSCs is level 1, it's very broad, upside down triangle if you're a visual person. Very broad, they just get more and more narrower and narrower as the levels go up into level 4, okay? All right. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to look at California State Contracts Register within Cali Procure. But before we get that, there is a bunch of things both in Q&A and in chat. So let me...
And Joanne, I'd actually love to hop in and kind of consolidate some of these similar questions. So I'll go ahead and read some off to you.
Wonderful.
we got quite a few questions asking about timelines. And I do want to preface, timelines can very much depend on many factors. So can you give a generalized timeline for how long a small business certification takes and how
Yeah.
long the DVBE certification takes?
Yes. So that is a really great question. Thank you for bringing that up. So certification in itself could take probably, if you're doing it and you have all of your documents ready, it could take an hour. However, the process to get it approved is a little bit different, right? So 99% of all small business certifications automatically get approved. Okay. So chances are, if you're doing a small business application, it's going to be automatically approved and you're going to get an email saying such. DVBE certification, however, may take anywhere from 4 to 6 weeks. And that is because they're real human beings, just like me and Amanda on the other side. And they have to physically go through and look at those documents from like the letter from the federal government of a disability and so forth. So those tend to take a little bit longer. If for whatever reason, maybe you've hit yes when you should have hit no, those certification officers want to get you certified. They're going to reach out to you and they're going to say, hey, this is so-and-so from the certifications officer. I was going through your application and I'm just making sure that you wanted to put no on this question instead of yes. And they're there to help you. So if for whatever reason you accidentally hit yes when you should have been no, it might take a little bit longer because they're just going to have to pull it, look at it, and figure that out. But normally it's pretty quick and you get certified on the spot with SB or SBPW.
Fantastic. And then Mike had a question. Do you have to have completed projects or any kind of contracting experience to get these certifications?
You have a great question there, Mike. It is absolutely not a requirement by any means. What you do want to do, however, is every solicitation that is being put out by a state of California department will have very specific requirements. They're all going to be different, right? And there's no solicitation that's the same. So you really want to read what their specific requirements are. Some of them might require some time. Some of them may not. So it's really important just to read the solicitation. And if you have questions about that specific solicitation, I'm going to show you exactly who you could reach out to, which is the contract administrator from that specific state department.
Fantastic. And Abraham's wondering if they can register in Cal eProcure, even if their business isn't domiciled in California.
So here's the thing, anybody can register. Anybody can register. You can register from anywhere in the world, absolutely. To get certified, you would have to go by the eligibility requirements for the certification upon which you're applying.
Fantastic. And we also had a question about how editable the Cal eProcure account will be after the fact. Lunisa, I am so sorry for butchering that name. Can you add your contractor's license or additional certifications after the fact?
You absolutely can. So one of the really cool things about Cal eProcure that I super enjoy is that you can always go back and you can edit things. You can edit your keywords, you can enter your information, you can edit your information, you can edit your UNSPSC codes. So it's really user-friendly like that. You can do those kind of things. Our part 2 webinar will actually show you how to go back if you're interested in that after you get registered and certified and edit all those.
Fantastic. And then we had a very crucial distinction we wanted to make. Carissa was asking what the difference between Cal eProcure and CMAS is.
So very different. So CMAS is the Leverage Procurement Agreement. Okay, and we don't really cover LPAs too much in this presentation. Cal eProcure is a website which houses state of California procurement information, such as it's where you go to get registered and certified. You can also find information about leverage procurement agreements, including CMAS, within the website of Cal eProcure. Okay, so Cal eProcure, it's literally the website, and it's the state of California centralized marketplace. So there's a section in there that talks about CMAS and you do have to do a separate application for CMAS, and that is found through Cali Procure.
Fantastic. And we do have a ton of fantastic questions. I want to say this audience is really lively. I love all of these questions. But I do want to keep us moving forward on the presentation. So we do keep to our hour-and-a-half time. And I'll be typing in some answers for these questions, and any that don't get answered will be asked at one of the later Q&A sessions.
Yeah, absolutely. And feel free to email us, you guys. We're here to help you. We're totally here to help you. And sometimes that's a little bit more beneficial too, because we could really dig into your specific question. And we have our resources available to us outside of doing a webinar. So
absolutely.
definitely.
And APEX Accelerator can also help. So we are another connection point, another contact that can help. So we will always do our best to help you guys, because we really are here for you.
Yep, absolutely, Amanda. All right, so finding contract opportunities. So contract opportunities, that's what I mean when I say solicitation. They're found on the California State Contracts Register, also known as CSCR, which can be accessed on Cali Procure, which again is the website, okay? So I'm going to show you how to get to the CSCR in the next few slides. So of course, you're going to log in to your account at www.caliprocure.ca.gov, the exact same spot where you went to get registered and certified. So if you hadn't already bookmarked that site, bookmark it, okay? You log in, and then you're going to see your work center because you've already gotten registered and certified. And then you can go ahead and you just hit the search button on the top right. Big, bold, says it right there. And it takes you to the California State Contracts Register. So these are current solicitations. And it uses the word event to refer to a bid solicitation, or what that really means is keyword. And you can search by event name, which is just a simple description of the solicitation, or you can even search by department. You can even click advanced search criteria, and it'll take you to this page. And it looks like this. You can search by United Nations Standards Products and Services Code, service area. So maybe you only want to search current solicitations in the San Diego area, for instance, and you're not interested in looking all throughout the state of California. You can narrow it down if you want to. Contractor's license type, if you have that, you can search by that. And then if you've memorized any of your codes, you can search by those too. And this is what your list is going to look like. These are the current solicitations that are out there, up to date, that are being advertised. And the really neat part about this is under event name, you can actually click on one of those items and you could see the details. So let's see, I went ahead and I clicked on the first one right there. This is an example of what it's going to look like. And this has some really great information. It's a really bad slide, but it has some great information on it. So you're going to be able to see the department name. So this is the department that is actually putting out that procurement opportunity. You're going to be able to see the event end date, and this is just the date and the time that your bid response must be received. And make sure you look at exactly the minute, okay? Because anything late may not be considered, okay? So I would hate for you to spend all this time getting your package together and submitting it, and then not accepting it because it was 3 minutes late, right? So that's very, very important. It also has the contact information, who lists who is in charge and responsible for this specific procurement over here on the right-hand side where it says contact information. This was a question in the Q&A that I had kind of brought up of who do you contact if you have a question about this specific procurement. This person is a person that you can contact. I advise you do it in writing because anything you say to them, you want a written response so you can save it. And you don't want to do your marketing to this person, okay? There's a different person for that purpose. This is only for this current solicitation. So this is where you would ask about those requirements if you don't see them in here. It should very clearly state the requirements for this specific procurement. So it's very important that you view the event package to see all the required documentation that you need and read through it, okay? This is also a place where you can post an advertisement indicating that you're a prime contractor. Maybe you're looking for a subcontractor on this project, or the other way around. Maybe you're a subcontractor looking for a prime contractor to work with. This ad is only for this specific solicitation, but you're also going to be able to see any current ads posted. And one thing I do want to bring up on here is the pre-bid conference. You definitely want to see if there is a pre-bid conference. At times they are mandatory. At times they will answer all the questions that they have received within that conference. If it is required to attend, you definitely want to make sure you or one of your associates attend. I would hate for them to take attendance and find out you weren't there and then not be able to get the bid because you didn't meet this qualification. So just definitely pay attention to that, okay? Before I get to researching past purchases, do we have questions that we want to get to real quick?
Absolutely. I have one from Gloria that's something I actually haven't thought about. If your business partner is a current state employee, is your company still eligible to bid for state contracts?
That's a really, really, really great question. So a lot of state employees have to sign a document, and it's called the 700 form, saying that they are not able to sell to the state of California for a specific amount of time. Mine is 1 year. So I cannot sell to the state of California for a year. I would ask your partner what she signed when she gained employment with the state of California, because it's different for all of us, right? But in my case, I'm not able to do it since I am a state of California employee.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
I also have a question from Anonymous. If your LLC is 51% veteran owned, do you still fulfill the veteran addition as a subcontractor?
Well, LLCs, it really depends on the solicitation. So LLCs, if you're a certified business, has to be fully owned. So I would definitely email me or Amanda to kind of get additional information on that one for you and help you navigate that.
Absolutely. There's so much gray area and so much depends on the specific wording of that specific contract that it's hard to give really general answers of like yes or no.
Yeah, absolutely.
Fantastic. And then we had a question from Phil. He's wondering who evaluates new products and services to determine if they would benefit the state?
That is a really great question. There is a place in Cali Procure that I cannot think of right now because I don't get asked this question very often. It's just a wonderful question. Where if you have, ideas or like an idea about leverage procurement agreement, for instance, that there's currently not one, you can email. It is in Cali Procure. Why don't you shoot me or Amanda an email and I will make sure that you get that information. I just honestly, I can't think of exactly where to go right now in my head because I haven't looked for that for a very long time. But I know that there actually is a place for evaluation, especially on LPAs, where they can do that. So I apologize. I don't know that off the top of my head without researching.
Yeah, but we'll definitely get you the answers to your questions. That's the big thing we're here for today.
Absolutely.
All right. And Anne Marie was wondering if she's micro certified, can she be small business certified as well, or do they kind of equate to each other?
Yes. So if you have already done the registration and the certification process within Cali Procure for the state of California, you applied for the small business certification and it automatically designated you as an MB or micro business. That is a small business certification. They just automatically, if you have 25 employees or less, identified you as a micro business. So it's a fancy word for a tiny small business. So yeah.
Perfect. And then I do see plenty of questions. I'm going to be typing in a lot of answers to these questions, so I appreciate your patience. We'll go ahead and do one more and then we'll move on. Anonymous was wondering, with regard to state procurement, is only the executive branch the ones that like really focus on procurement?
No, that's a great question. So the whole state of California, and like I said earlier, we have over 200 departments. all of them have to meet the 25% contracting goal, which means 25% of all their contracts for that specific department or agency have to go towards procurement within small businesses. 3% of all their contracts have to go towards DVBE, right? Some departments that I'll show you in a second have even higher goals for their individual departments, and they have something called a first policy, which just means they have an internal process where they have even higher goals, and they go to small businesses first. Procurement is statewide, right? Everybody, especially since everybody is buying things, every single department has a budget, and they have to fulfill buying their stuff. So it's definitely not one branch at all. It's every single department and their internal policies, but they have to meet the larger goal for the state as a whole. I hope that made sense.
Fantastic. And that'll be it for this Q&A. And I'll be, again, typing in and answering some of these other questions that we've gotten.
Perfect. Okay, this is one of my most favorite things to do, and that is researching past purchases. It sounds silly that it's my favorite thing to do, but there's a method to the madness of doing state of California contracting. So one of those ways is by researching past purchases on the state contract and procurement registration system. We affectionately call it SKIPPers because we love our acronyms here at the state of California. So it is located within Cali Procure, and it's actually the main place to conduct your market research. So by searching past purchases, this is a database of past purchases that goes all the way back to December 9th, 2015. And why I say that is because it is a huge database, and it includes state and non-state dollars. It is public facing. You don't have to be certified or registered to take a look at it. And you use it to conduct market research, as I said, like 3 times now. I'm going to guide you through it and give you some really great tips. The registration and the certification process, you guys, is really the easy part. The hard part and the most time-consuming part is actually doing the market research, because you guys are all going to be doing it for your specific small businesses or DVBEs to see what the state is buying, who they're buying it from, and at what cost. You can potentially also see who your competitors or your partners are from this information, okay? So to get there, you're going to go to caliprocure.ca.gov, and you're going to see these 4 boxes. Click on the bottom left box, which is Find Public Procurement Information, and you're going to click on the link that says SKIPPers for past purchases. From there, you're going to be taken to the SKIPPers database. So again, it's a database of past purchases, and you're going to be able to search with a variety of parameters and filters. And most often you can search by description. And what they really mean is you're going to use any of your keywords that we went over to describe the products and services that you sell. And if you see my example here, I think we use the word construction. You are going to get a very, very long list of results, and it's really laid out like a spreadsheet. And there's more columns to the right with even more information that we couldn't even fit in the slide. But as I said earlier, you can see some basic information on the left. It's the department from the state of California that made this purchase, the business it went to, and then how much money you spent. You can download this information, and then analyze it to help you determine which state of California departments buy your products and services, which businesses and companies it's currently going to, and you can see if they're a small business or not. And you can scope out that business if they're a certified business within Cali Procure and get some information about your competition. Maybe you go, hey, I see that California Department of Corrections is buying this product. I do exactly that, and I could do it at a lower cost even. It's going to this business, and they're not even a certified business. Well, you know that you're going to want to go find the advocate, who I'm going to show you next. And you're going to reach out to the advocate and start marketing your products and services and saying, hey, I know you guys are buying this, and I do this, and I'm a certified business, right? So this gives you a lot of really great information about that. We're back at that frequently asked questions, FAQ.
Fantastic. And we do have a couple of questions I wasn't able to get to.
Yeah.
So Alicia is wondering if there's a checklist or instruction sheets for this process.
Yes. So when you first logged in to Cali Procure, before you get certified, I showed a page and it has all the documents that you're going to need to get together, get ready, have all your documents ready. It's in Cali Procure. Yeah. And you can also go to Cali Procure, go up to the top quick links and go to training and resources, and it'll do step-by-step guides on what you need to do as well. And there's little videos in there, things like that too.
Absolutely. And we were also wondering, we know that we can add the contractor's license after we get set up in Cal eProcure, but do we need the license to get certified as a small business?
No, you don't. There's lots of businesses who are not contractors and they're getting certified. So you don't need that for that purpose.
Fantastic. And then Toby had a question. Can a subcontractor be used in any solicitations or just in specific ones?
It depends on the solicitation. Yeah, it depends. Every single solicitation you are ever going to see are going to be different, right? So some have requirements that say, hey, we're going to give, like the state of California department will put out a solicitation and say, hey, we're going to give this to a prime. But in order for the prime to have it, they have to have 50% of SBs as subcontractors, for instance, right? So, I mean, it really depends. It depends on the solicitation. I'd say view those details, read through them. They're all different.
Absolutely. And that's really where the Apex Accelerator services shine, is because you can have someone who's very experienced in contract reading, in contract compliance, in all of the lingo and the terminology that's within that solicitation, and they can break it down for you and really tell you if you can use a subcontractor or if they distinctly do not want you to.
Yep, absolutely. Lean on Apex Accelerator, you guys. Like, lean into them. They're there to help you at no cost, right?
At absolutely no cost.
They can help you. They can help you with things that I can't help you with, like capability statements, which is going to go into our next topic about advocates here in a second.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then we did have just one little point of clarification.
Oh, yeah.
So to get certified, all we need is the trade registration and tax ID.
To get certified, there's a list of documents upon which you're going to need to follow to get certified. A lot of them are yes or no questions, but there are definitely, like, for instance, your taxes, last 3 years. If you haven't filed taxes, and you're a brand new business, for instance, then you're going to be able to go through that. So there's a list of requirements which you're going to need to get your documents ready, upload them in the computer, and then attach them. So that is, again, in caliprocure.ca.gov. Go to resources or get certified, click on get certified, and it's going to give you a list of what you're going to need. And it really depends on the certification, right, that you're going to be applying for. So look at that. But again, if you're going through the application and you get stuck, you can come back, right? It's not an all end all kind of thing. If you don't have something right then, you can stop, go get the documents you need, and then come back to get certified. So
absolutely. And that is all the questions we have for now, but please feel free to enter any more you may have into the Q&A.
Yeah. So I want to touch on advocates. So this is kind of where it comes full circle, you guys. So in the slide that I was just showing you, we were talking about past purchases and why that was important for market research, and how we looked at past purchases to really identify which state of California departments are buying what you're selling, okay? And this is important to know, because after you find a department who is buying what you're selling and they're doing it over and over and over again, you want to find out who that advocate is for that specific state of California department. And the person you're going to want to market to from that specific state of California department is called an advocate. And so any agency or department that procures at least $100,000 per year is required to have an SB or DVBE advocate. These are state of California employees who work in the purchasing or procurement area of that specific state department. These could be a manager, an analyst. Okay, they have different titles. but they are actually the ones who are going to help your business do contracting with their specific departments. They work very closely with the buyers in their specific departments to include small businesses and DVBEs and state of California contracting to ensure that that department is meeting the requirements of those 25% small business and 3% DVBE goals. Okay. They can also help you knowing what's coming down the pipeline. I don't know which departments have specific solicitations. There's a lot of them, but these advocates know. They might know if there's a solicitation coming down the pipeline, and they can help you. They help you with the Prompt Payment Act, for instance. So if you are a certified contractor with the state of California and maybe you have some questions about the payment, they are the ones to go to. They can help you with that prompt payment. They're really your new best friend, okay? So this is how you find them. You can access their information from Cali Procure. And you want to go to www.caliprocure.ca.gov, which is the website they got certified and registered on. You're going to click on Find Training and Resources. I've brought this up before because there's a lot of really great information on this page. But you want to scroll all the way to the bottom to contact a SB and DVBE advocate. Okay, right there. It's going to redirect you to this page. Okay, but it's going to tell you all about the advocate, what I just told you, but very nice, very, very nicely descripted. And you're going to click on Download the Advocate Directory. It's going to upload like on an Excel spreadsheet that looks like this. Okay, so the Advocate Directory provides the department, the office, the advocate's name, and their contact information here. So this is really important. Their contact information, so you can send them an email. I definitely recommend you personalize that email. And I have been personally told by a lot of the advocates that it's much easier that if you are a certified business with the state of California, when you email them, include in the subject line your certification number. That way they can easily identify you as a small business. You'll notice here that some of these departments are going to have a highlight in yellow. And I was talking a little bit earlier about departments that have an SB first policy. And that is a formal internal policy for these specific departments that stipulates that their staff approach every solicitation through the lens of a small business and that they work to incorporate small businesses from the very beginning. So that is just like the cherry on top, right? For companies that do construction, we just try to make it easy for you and we put an X next to it. So those X's indicate that they do a high amount of construction. And this can be really used for your marketing campaigns, okay? So again, we went to past purchases, we found the departments that are buying what you're selling. Now that we know those departments, you go to the advocate directory, which I'm showing you here, to locate the advocate for the person that you need to market your products and services to. You can work with Norcal APEX Accelerators on working with your capability statements, okay? If you don't know what those are, you can hit up Miss Amanda over there and she and her team will guide you through them. Okay. Questions before we go to emergency registry contacting?
Fantastic. And we do have a couple of questions.
Okay.
So Anonymous is wondering, when you get certified as a brand new company, will you still have the same opportunities as a company that's been certified for, say, 3 or 5 years?
Yeah, absolutely. Because somebody's been certified for 3 or 5 years, that doesn't really mean that they're more experienced. Maybe they haven't even gotten any state of California contracts, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, so absolutely, certification is certification. And then I had another one from Anonymous. What if you received a bid request but heard nothing back from the bid requester? Where can you find out if you over or underbidded, or maybe ask for like a debrief?
Yeah, then that's a really great question. So remember in the earlier slides when we were going over the CSCR current contracts, you can go back to that and look at the contract administrator. Remember the person I said, don't market your products and services to, only ask about this specific solicitation? You can ask that person about that specific solicitation. and their contact information should be on that. They're going to know all the information, and if you need to do a public records request, you can also do that too. Everything's supposed to be public. Yeah.
Fantastic. And then Mike was wondering if he's acting as a prime contractor and doesn't have the certain certifications that the bid calls for, can he use a subcontractor to bid and perform the work?
So we're going to go over CUF a little bit, and you definitely want to make sure you're following the laws and regulations associated with CUF. It has a lot to do, so hang out until the end of this, because there's certain things like you don't want to subcontract out more a portion that's not ordinary for industry standards. So you want to make sure you're not doing a couple things and following the rules. Oftentimes you can have a subcontractor who is a certified firm to meet a requirement of that specific solicitation. It's intricate. I would say get with Amanda's team on specific questions about different solicitations, though. They can be a little tricky, right? And so Amanda's team is really great at helping you really dissect those if you have questions about them, because they're all different solicitations.
Yeah. And Diana, I did see your question. I'm not quite sure what you're referencing. She was asking, I see this for state contracts, but does that include counties or cities?
Reciprocity partners?
So we'll go ahead and hold this question. If you want to go ahead and clarify for us, we would love to get you that answer. Oh, asking about the Cal eProcure system. So for state contracts, they go through Cal eProcure, but what about counties and cities?
Perfect.
Thank you.
Yes, no, great question. So all the state of California contract solicitations will be in Cal eProcure. Even though we have reciprocity partners, cities, counties, local governments, you will need to register with them. Even though they honor the state of California's certification, you still didn't need to register with them in order to look at all their solicitations. Yeah, and they might have specific requirements as well. So you definitely don't want to say, oh, I'm certified, done. You want to make sure that you're connected with them still if you want to do business with them. Yeah.
Absolutely. And just as an example, I know the Bay Area, some agencies have an LBE or local business enterprise certification that can give you that one step up.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's additional certifications, right? You may possibly want to get as well. Right.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And that is all the questions we have for now.
All right. So I mentioned in the very beginning about emergency contracting with the state of California. So I'm just going to touch on the SB and DVBE emergency registry. So it is a dedicated portal for California's certified businesses to register as a supplier of emergency goods and services. So one of the benefits of certification is being on the emergency registry, since it is exclusive to only certified firms. So unlike Cal eProcure, this portal will only include businesses that provide goods and services from already predetermined emergency categories. And I'm going to go over those categories with you in a second. And what happens is the state of California buyers during a time of an emergency can access and search this pool of certified suppliers. Okay. So which businesses should sign up? So anybody who is currently ready and able to support the state of California in emergency. That means the emergency contractor requires fast, around the clock turnaround times. So you should only register, and I cannot even stress this enough, if you're fully capable of immediately providing goods and services that are on the list. So we know that emergencies happen not from 9 to 5. They happen at 3 o'clock in the morning. They happen on holidays, and they happen on the weekends. And I just want to note that these buyers from the state of California are the same buyers who are going to be looking at certified firms for other procurement opportunities. So if you're on the emergency registry and a buyer from the state of California has tried to contact you during an emergency, which is kind of a stressful time, and you're not receptive and they see you again, most likely, you know, you're not going to be on the top of their list, because they're like, I tried to reach out to you 5 times and you were not responsive, right? So just kind of really keep that in mind, that they're the same buyers looking on both lists, and that you want to be really, really responsive if you choose to be on the emergency registry, okay? These are some of the emergency registry categories. You do have to select at least one category when you're going to be on the emergency registry. There's things like base camp operations, traffic control, medical. But the neat thing is there's also services, right? Miscellaneous services. So I once got asked when I was showing this slide, hey, I do trauma-informed therapy. Is that something that can be on the emergency registry? And I said, absolutely. Absolutely. So you would just choose miscellaneous services. And one of the big tips that I like to give everybody is there's a section when you sign up for the emergency registry that says description. And you want to be as descriptive as you possibly can. Because when emergencies happen, these buyers need to make quick decisions. The more information you give them here, let's say you have a ladder. I need to know the measurements of the ladder. I need to know how many ladders you might have. I need to know everything about that ladder right there in the emergency description, so I don't have to go digging for information. It's going to help me in a critical moment to pick a firm who can quickly and has properly identified the services that it has for me to make a decision. Okay, so that will only help you. More information here will only help you. In order to register, you will need your certification number, the one you get from being registered with the state of California. You will have to pick one or more emergency registry categories, what you can do during an emergency. And like I just talked about, description of the services and products which you can offer. You're going to want to have your business address, including your contact information, both primary and of course, after hours. Okay. So in order to find information about being more involved with state of California emergency contracting, you can go ahead and go to caliprocure.ca.gov. You're going to see your 4 boxes, which you guys are pros at by now. And you're just going to click on Sell to the State, which is the top left box. After you click there, it's going to take you to this page, which just says Sell to the State. And you're going to scroll all the way down to SB DVBE Emergency Contracting. And you're going to find a link here, and it's going to literally give you all the information, what I just told you, and even more information about it. And it's going to have a step-by-step guide, literally with screenshots and everything on how to register for the emergency registry. The turnaround time to be approved for the emergency registry is about 24 hours. And there's emails on there. So if you have questions specific to join the emergency registry, maybe you're having some technical login problems or something like that, just shoot them an email. They are super duper responsive. They'll get back to you within 24 hours. All right, last but not least, I want to talk to you a little bit about commercially useful function. So this is the next slide is going to cover this. And commercially useful function is really the laws and regulations that go along with having any state of California contract, right? They are legal binding contracts when you enter a contract with the state of California. And it includes to everybody that's participating in the contract. So it includes the SB, DVBEs, as well as any SBs or DVBEs that substitute the listed SBs or DVBEs during the contract term. It includes any subcontractors as well. And it's regardless on the procurement approach or method used. So you know that you're doing what you're supposed to be doing when you enter a contract with the state of California if you're executing a distinct element of the work. So you're doing what you said that you were signing up to do, right? I'm selling pencils to the state of California. I am really selling pencils to the state of California. I didn't decide that I'm not selling pencils in the middle of my contract and that I was going to sell lamps to the state of California. That would be not something that I signed up to do. You are performing or managing or supervising the work as you would with a business. You are performing work that is normal for the firm's business and services and functions. Negotiating the rate, you're determining the quality and the quantity. You're doing the ordering, installing, you're making payments to subcontractors, what you need to do. And this is the big one. You're not subcontracting a portion of the work greater than expected by industry standards. So what I mean by that is really big projects like Caltrans and construction, for instance, they have a lot of subcontractors that do a lot of work, right? They're humongous roadway projects, for instance, and they often have a lot of subcontracting. That's going to be a lot more than, let's say, the state of California hired a photographer, and that photographer, who we thought was going to be the talent taking the actual pictures, hire somebody else, a subcontractor, to do all the picture taking. And it's 99.9% of the work. And we're like, hey, we didn't even hire your subcontractor to take the pictures. We hired you. Why are they doing all the work, right? that might be a little bit out of ordinary for that specific line of work. So if you have questions about that, ask the project administrator early on. Your business does not perform CUF if you're being used as a pass-through in order to obtain the appearance of the SB or DVBE participation. What I mean by that is I go, hey, Amanda, you need pencils. I can get you whatever you need. You don't worry about it. And I can get it at the lowest price. And Amanda goes, well, that sounds really great, but I really need to know, your certification here. Like, are you the disabled veteran who owns the LLC? Like, what's going on? And I'm like, don't worry about it. And she's like, huh, okay, well, that's a red flag. Another red flag is you can get me whenever I want. Where's it coming from? And I'm like, don't worry about it. Well, Amanda's probably not going to do business with me. First of all, because she doesn't know if I'm going to Staples and I'm stealing all these products and selling them to the state of California. She has no idea. That would be a violation of CUF, right? Yeah, Amanda's like, I can't do business with you, right? That's not going to be good. Not being used to perform the work as stipulated. Again, that's just, you're saying what you're going to do from the beginning, right? And you're no longer used to provide the goods and services listed on the initial bid. Like I said, if I said I was selling pencils and that's my line of business, but I switched it up halfway through the bid process or after I got the contract and I started selling lamps, that would not be a good thing. Altogether, all you need to do to ensure that you are fulfilling your commercially useful function is be truthful, be honest, be upright, and ask questions early on. Because you got a state contract, you want to make sure that you continue through that whole contract, okay? Nobody wants to violate rules. Nobody wants to be in that situation. There could be potential jail time. You could be blacklisted from doing business with the state of California. There's impact for fines. So you just want to make sure if you have any questions, reach out. They are here to help you go through this because nobody wants to see anybody violate CUF and not be able to do business with the state. So ask questions, read your contracts, and then do what you say you're going to do. Okay, that is the best advice I can give you guys on that one. And then, of course, I want to go over resources. Amanda from Norcal APEX Accelerators is a huge partner for the Office of Small Business and Disabled Veteran Business Enterprise Services. They help us to put on webinars like the one that you're watching today. And congratulations for being here and on your new adventure of contracting with the state of California. There's many things that we provide to the public, like these webinars. They're absolutely free in partnership with Norcal APEX Accelerators, but they can dive in a little bit deeper with you guys than we are able to do. They're able to help you, find business consulting. They're able to help you do planning, marketing, access to capital, so many things, your capability statements, go through bid solicitations. They are invaluable partners. Like if I had a small business, I would be hitting up some of these resources, you guys, for sure, because they are a great help. So if you haven't already, work with Amanda and her team. There's also SCORE. These are normally retirees that offer business mentorship in specific fields. For SCORE, you can find them, you Google SCORE near you in your geographical area. And then there's also small business development centers, which normally work with new businesses, and they do consulting, planning, marketing, and access to capital as well. We do many partnerships with them as well. But the goal here is that you know that there is help out there, and there are no fees associated with this help. And it's very important, okay? So we're all here to help you. And I hope you take part of that help if you need it. So today, and you guys are going to get these slides, and I'm going to give you my email one more time too. And you haven't, and so will Amanda. Just make sure that you have somebody to reach out to. It's a lot of information. So we went over broad introduction to SB DVBE program. We went over certification benefits and then the eligibility, which are all on these slides, so you can review them. We talked about Cali Procure. Remember, that's a website, and it's the state of California centralized marketplace. It holds lots of information. And then we went over the SB DVBE emergency registry for those of you who want to get a little bit more involved in state of California contracting after you become certified with the state of California, right? It's exclusive to certified firms. And then last but not least, we did cover commercial useful function, not to scare you, but just to ensure that when you get that contract, you got that contract, and then you can keep getting more contracts because you're following those rules. So ask questions early on and be honest, and that's really the main goal of it. We do have a LinkedIn page. If you're interested and you have LinkedIn, please feel free to check us out there. We have upcoming events posted on here normally, and success stories and really interesting things. You can also, if you guys have your phones, now is the time to grab it. This is a QR code. Go ahead and download that. This is going to take you to where you can schedule a one-on-one free. Everything that the state of California does for this part is free. Costs you nothing to do a video consultation, me or one of my colleagues. If you have a specific issue, if you want help getting registered and certified, we will share screen with you and walk you through the process. Whatever it is. Updating your Cali Procure profiles, or finding contract opportunities. We can help you with all of those things and more. There's no question too small for us. Sometimes it's easier when we do the one-on-ones because we can really dig into your individual company, take a look at your company and what you do. What Amanda does as well. Her and her team are very well versed in all of this. And thank you so much for participating. This is my information one more time. So if you have any of those individual questions that really require us kind of digging in or individual things, reach out to us. That way we can give you a really personalized answer other than like an overview. Sometimes it's just a lot easier. So thank you so much. I'm going to hand it back to Amanda.
Absolutely. And so before we get into Apex's upcoming events, we do have a couple other questions and we do have the time. Anne Marie is wondering what if EV charging stations or a water machine could be part of the emergency contracting space.
Absolutely.
Fantastic. And Derek is wondering if there's a maximum value in emergency contracting.
Nope.
Awesome.
I like these questions. I'm like,
right? We get a couple clear-cut ones.
Yeah, I'm like, nope. Let's see.
And then Anonymous was wondering if they can register 2 different companies for different material supply in Cal eProcure.
It's going to depend. It's going to depend on your Secretary of State registration. So you can do like a DBA, but ideally, like if it's the same company and you just do different things, it's going to be that one company that you're registering, right? Even if you do more than one thing within your company, you're still that same company. So you're just going to register and certify that one company, even if you do different things.
Yeah. Okay. And then someone was actually asking about Cal eProcure updates, but if you're unable to get into your account, like you're not receiving the emails, you can't update your password because you've already tried so many times. Yeah. What would be a good way to get back into it? Is there a help number possibly?
You are totally on top of it, Amanda. I'm going to put in the chat the email to email us. You can email me and I will send you this as well, but it's osdshelp.ca at ca.gov. I'm going to put it in the chat.
Perfect. And so we'll get you that for sure, because that can be quite a big problem.
Yep. OSDS help. Oh man, I put a comment there. At dgs.ca.gov. Here, I'll do it again.
Okay. And as we kind of wrap up, I do want to let everybody know Apex Accelerators put on a ton of events that you can take advantage of, and we have some exciting ones coming up. We have Become a Wildland Firefighting Vendor, January 30th. So that's coming up, and that we will be joined by a representative from CAL FIRE, as well as the U.S. Forest Service. So you can make those connections to really get in on those contracts. And then we also have our introductory How to Do Business with the Government. This is a back to basics kind of course, giving you the best foundation you could have to start your government contracting journey off on. And that's going to be on February 8th. And in February, we will also be doing some really exciting mentor-protege overviews. Mentor-protege program is a very unique program that is run by a couple of different agencies, and we'll be going over not only the DoD program, but also the SBA program. So please check those out. And if you are interested in that kind of mentor-protege program, make sure you register. And then, as I do see, we want to get that that QR code back up, and we can go ahead and do that as we wrap up.
Great job, Amanda.
Fantastic. And I just want to thank everybody for joining us today. It was a fantastic presentation, and thank you so much, Joanne, for being here. And as you guys leave the webinar, I do want to let you know you'll be redirected to our feedback survey. Now, this is a survey we always ask for feedback on all of our events because, like we've said, we really do this for you to benefit you. And if we could be doing it better, maybe different topics, maybe a different kind of presentation, maybe whatever you can think of that you think would bring more value to these, please let us know. But also feel free to let us know, hey, this was a fantastic event. We always love getting those little feathers in our caps to know that we really are providing the best value we can to our local businesses. So your feedback is absolutely invaluable to our program. And with that, I do see someone asking for my email. Gloria, I will get you my email for sure. But I will do that after this session, and we'll go ahead and wrap up. Thank you all so much for being here, and I hope you all have a fantastic rest of your day.